Arnold Summit Conference. I would like to welcome QueenBe. I also would like to thank them very much for sponsorship. Ava Diamond and Linda Stevens, the founders, with their elite panel of experts launching the Arnold Summit here at the Arnold Sports Festival 2017. I would like to give you a little background on each of the experts. Ava Diamond has been empowering people to transform their lives in mind, body, career, and romance for over 20 years. Her Diamond Mind Strategies, coaching for developing the mindset that matters, is now used all over the world, including by our U.S. military. Ava Diamond's Mind Strategies is the cornerstone of the QueenBe Midlife Mastery Program. Welcome, Ava Diamond. Linda Stevens brings her education and experience to the QueenBe program as the master nutritionist for helping women to understand their unique physical needs in midlife. Her education, passion, and expertise informed readers through her internationally published nutrition articles and several top health and fitness publications. Linda provides nutrition and fitness coaching as the body part of the QueenBe Mind Body Empowerment Program. Welcome, Stevens. Monica Brandt is not only a fitness icon, but on a mission herself for empowering women to find their way into fitness. She introduces women to new fitness endeavors and challenges them to discover their physical courage and strength. Monica is an international fitness celebrity, athlete, and model, complete health, fitness, and life coach, IFBB Fitness Olympia champion, WBFF two-time World's Figure Champion, USA TF Masters Sprint Champion. Welcome, Monica Brandt. QueenBe expert Heather Havenwood is a serial entrepreneur and is regarded as a top authority on digital marketing, sales, coaching, and online publishing business strategies. Heather Ann has been named Top 50 Must-Follow Women Entrepreneurs for 2017 by the Huffington Post. She is also called Chief Sexy Boss from her Amazon bestseller book, Sexy Boss: How Female Entrepreneurship is Changing the Rule Book and Beating the Big Boys. She empowers the QueenBe audiences with professional mastery as she talks about how to sell herself and your business with confidence. Welcome, Heather. QueenBe expert Batya Maman, owner of Social Connect, is a national social media guru. She joins the QueenBe team with more than expertise in how to maximize social media for your professional benefits. However, Batya shares her personal and compelling story of overcoming adversity as a woman in midlife. She talks about how to go from nothing to all you want in life. Welcome, Batya. QueenBe expert Stacey Battat has been an educator and public speaker for almost 20 years. She recently earned a graduate degree specializing in sexuality with additional training in sex therapy and life coaching. She helps women ignite their playful spirit, love the perfect imperfections of their bodies, and embrace their sexual desires. Welcome, QueenBe, Stacey Battat. Welcome, QueenBe, and your panel of experts. Get ready for a great presentation.
Thank you, Rob. QueenBe actually began 20 years ago with a program that I created for teenage girls called Girl Talk. It was to help them find what I call now their voice of value, or in other words, say what you mean and mean what you say. Fast forward a bunch of years, and through 20 some odd years of clinical training, education, and my work, that's cool, my work with, hang on, don't look. My work with people trying to overcome the most challenging of life circumstances, from traumatic experience of the bigger kinds that we all know, to drug addiction of various kinds, and a wide range of complications in life that no one really wants to ever have to face. And through their mindset work, I help them to overcome and create the lives that they hope to have. So the QueenBe program also became part of my life as I looked at my own midlife journey when I was 38 years old and had this aha moment. We all have aha moments where we get to look, the bright light shines, and we say, is this all there is? Is this who we want to be? And in my world, it was when my mother was diagnosed with terminal illness. My mother was the most vibrant human being on the planet. In fact, she was so irritatingly positive that my friends called her the commercial lady as we were growing up. She sounded like she was doing a commercial for everything. I was a pessimist by nature. My father's very skeptical physician. And as I witnessed my mother's mindset come to life through her facing death, as no medical intervention could have, according to the doctors, done what her mind had done. She prolonged her life through her attitude and her beliefs from a sentence of 6 months to live to 2 years. And in that time, she climbed up the tallest mountains in Israel with a tumor in her femur, the size of a grapefruit. She had tumors throughout her body for most of the time. And what she did, and yesterday, by the way, if you sign on to ASF TV and you see the segment that we taped yesterday, you'll hear Batya Maman's story and Stacey Battat's story. And what they talked about in terms of overcoming obstacles, and what Batya specifically talked about was giving back and the power of giving back in mastering your own life through the giving process. My mother created a program for people to come called the Healing Circle to talk about what they were dealing with facing life and death circumstances. And that was when she was going through it herself. She put her emphasis on others. So it was a rejuvenation process for her mind and her energy throughout. The QueenBe program, backtrack just a moment to my light bulb moment, right? The aha was when I realized my mother was terminally ill, and I thought, oh my God, if this can happen in, with one phone call with bad news, what am I doing feeling like I live in darkness? Because I was 155% mom. And the reason I was because, well, I married a nice man, but he was the wrong man for me. And in fact, I didn't want to invest in my relationship with him, and so I was totally invested in my 3 wonderful children, who are grown now. And parts of myself had gone dormant. That's what I actually created a program back then as well called Emerging from Diaper Darkness. And it was for women to reclaim their bodies, their minds, their souls, their spirits, their fun and playful side for themselves, not just with their children. So here we are. QueenBe is about beginning and believing in who you can become, and then learning how to become that, to become fully confident and capable in every room that you walk into. Why is mindset so important to this second launching? Well, it's your fuel source for lifting off. Do you remember the campaign called saying that the brain is a terrible thing to waste, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, right? So you have a large amount of people with a large amount of money and their own success realizing that the brain is a terrible thing to waste. It was designed for children to stay in school and do their best and to not do drugs. Well, guess what? We all waste our brain. We all wind up wasting the absolute power of our brain. We don't tap into it. And there's another slogan that you probably remember, because it's in the forefront all the time. Just do it. Whose is that? All right. So just do it is about don't overthink. Just do it. There's another mindset reference. So finding the balance between tapping into your power of your mindset and also tapping into that ability to not second guess yourself, not to outthink yourself, and just do it, is where you find your greatest success. Mindset is what gives us our energy to take steps forward or to not take steps forward. It's about developing a strong, clear, and valuable mind that's illuminating and unique. However, what we find in tapping into this energy source that we have between our ears is that there are 2 great barriers. The barriers blocking your becoming, either fall into the fear category or the lack of or misuse of energy. So today, in this very brief presentation of QueenBe Diamond Mind Strategies, I'm going to give you a few tips for how to combat the bandits and the demons of your mental energy. If you want to learn more, you can buy our workbook, which is out there. It has over 15 different exercises that you can use for mind management. You'll see here that the fear of change, the fear of regret, the fear of success, the fear of failure are the fear bandits, the fear demons. The energy bandits are hormones, nutrition, lack of clarity of who you are, what you want, and why you want it. Barrier breakthroughs, which are part of the Diamond Mind strategies, are designed to eliminate these interfering thoughts, these ideas and the language you use to describe your world that hinder your own personal growth. So yesterday I talked a little bit about purpose. And that's where you develop your clarity of what you want, who you are, and why you want it. Going back to the why. When we have purpose, do you know that people in their senior years who have the most, they talk about their most rewarding experiences in senior years, it's because they have 3.5 purposes that they have defined. And I don't know where the 0.5 comes from. But that's what the research shows. 3.5 core pursuits is what they hold from in their later years that allow them to live longer and stronger with more happiness. We're going to talk about happiness in a minute. But discovering what's your why, which is your personal mission statement, is so incredibly important to guiding your energy for how you make your choices each day, whether it's a fitness pursuit, an academic pursuit, or a relationship pursuit. Writing it out, coming up with a statement. Every company has a mission statement, right? Every company has a mission statement because it's the guiding principle for all of the employees to come to work each day and know what their core pursuit for their work is, to know how they're going to operate well and best and in alignment with why they have their job. That's what we do for ourselves with a personal mission statement. So I urge you to actually think about that and to take some time for yourself to develop your own personal mission statement and use it every day. And then develop a healthy marriage with your why. Not everybody knows what a healthy marriage is, so let me just briefly describe that that means a commitment. It means a trust in your own ideas of why you have your personal mission statement. It means being loyal to it so that you use it each day to think about how you're going to make your choices. You can use it by waking up in the morning and reminding yourself, before you even put your feet on the floor, is what I suggest to people, of your personal mission statement. So that's about, energy. When you don't have your clarity, your purpose, you wind up diminishing some of your mental energy for how you make your choices and achieve your goals. But the other energy depleter is hormones. And everybody here in midlife is absolutely, if you were here earlier for the Centogenics presentation, or if you tune in to ASF TV for their presentation, you'll have heard about hormones and how they can create a depleted energy source. They actually, a lot of my clients come to me, they've been misdiagnosed with depression, put on antidepressants, put on anxiety medications, all of those things that diminish their ability to function at their optimal levels. And in fact, it's erroneous diagnosis. They actually have low testosterone, or they have hormone balancing that's needed. So when they finally get to the correct intervention, they realize they don't need the antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication. So let's talk about those bandits, those fear bandits. Fear, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise, is a choice. Fear is only an intense energy that can be transformed into a fuel source. What I mean by that is that fear is a feeling, just like all of the other ones. It is not something that controls you unless you let it. A lot of times we have fear because something new is happening, and that's exciting. And change is often a little bit frightening. However, we allow it to fester in our minds and become a bigger deal about why maybe this isn't going to work out so well. Fear is something that we can actually decide is our friend. There's actually a book that's very popular, Make Fear Your Friend. Make Friends with Fear, that's what it's called. So I just promoted somebody else's book. But make friends with fear. And I try to do that all the time. I'll tell you my little story that changed my entire life. When I was in my late 40s, 47 to be exact, my son was going out for the golf team for the third time in a row in high school. The first two times he didn't make it. And of course, Mama Bear over here, no, please don't do that. I don't want you to have to deal with that again. And I didn't say that. I thought that. And instead, I said, well, you know what? If you take yourself out there, put yourself out there for that kind of exposure again, then I I can do something that I've been fearing, which is to take myself onto the stage as a competitive bodybuilder. I've been approached for the last 10 years, do you compete? Do you compete? Oh no, that's not me. It's not that it's not me, it's that I was afraid of it becoming me. Well, at 47, he got on the golf team. He wasn't 47, he was 17. And I started competing, and I earned my pro card in the national federations in that same year. So we both had a win-win experience. When I overcame the fear, and I call it the knee-knocking moments, the knee-knocking moments that you start to have jitters and butterflies, actually means you have the greatest opportunity for growth. And if you can balance yourself from the knee-knocking, the opportunity is going to unfold. And sure enough, what happened for me was, even though I had a really solid career as a psychotherapist and clinical directorship, and I was writing a lot, and I was very happy with my career, I could never have imagined what getting into the world of fitness in that way could have done to expand my opportunities. And they did, because I wound up developing the Diamond Mind Strategy program that really is a blend of what I learned working for myself but in my fitness endeavors, but also then with hundreds of athletes of all different sports who were trying to take themselves to the next level. It's very practical and strategic, but it's also grounded in evidence-based clinical theory, which makes it a bit different than some of the life coaching that you might find out there. So here's the happiness that I want to talk about. Forget about happiness, ladies. And here's why. Happiness comes and goes like all of the other emotions. And while we all want to be happy at times, we're not going to be happy all the time. However, the goal could be to live with a condition of joy. Joy is something that can be the underpinning of all the experiences that you have. And there's different ways to exercise joy so that you can have that condition. I live with that condition. That's not to say, and my ladies over here would know, it's not that I don't have stress in my life. However, when I have stress, it doesn't rob me of my ability, my energy, my self-care. It doesn't rob me of my ability to get along with my loved ones or create conflict, because I have a condition of joy. And one of the greatest ways to develop this condition of joy is through gratitude. I work with clients often who are in recovery from addiction, and through their 12-step program, they're encouraged to make a gratitude list. No, that's not what I'm talking about, even though that's a lovely thing to do. Gratitude is not about making a list of what you're thankful for. Gratitude is an exercise. It's an exercise in connecting with other people and connecting with the world around you, coming outside of your body and appreciating the moment and slowing yourself down through that process. It's a refueling experience. It refuels your energy that allows you to keep going forward longer and stronger. So what I tell people to do to activate their gratitude is to really notice. Now, I've become more like my commercial lady mom, because now I get why she did what she did, because when you stop and you say, oh my God, that's the most beautiful flower I've ever seen, you're actually changing your brain chemistry. You're reducing your cortisol levels, so the stress chemicals are coming down. If you can do things like that, my clients think I'm super corny, because when they have progress, I get really excited with them, for them, and they feel it, and I say it out loud. And when I have my coworkers and I supervise an entire team of clinicians, I say it out loud to them when I notice how much easier they're making everything run, et cetera, et cetera. We forget to do that, to take the time to appreciate, to demonstrate gratitude, to share it. But it will help us with stress management by reducing that cortisol. And so another Diamond Mind strategy for refueling, as gratitude was, is the concept of called pause. Very little in life is truly urgent, and very often we act as if it is. When we do that, again, there's that cortisol in the brain. Cortisol makes it hard to lose fat. Why would we want that? So reducing your cortisol levels allows you to stay also true to your fitness goals. Practice this daily. Accept what you can and cannot change. Unwind your mind for 2 minutes. Strategize the actions you can take with the parts you can change. And expand your perspective. One thing about pause is mindset A. When I find that people fall into acceptance, too often that means just accepting everything as it is. When they actually can fine-tune it and look at the things they can change and then develop a plan and become the masters of their own life. So that's all about rejuvenating energy. The other thing that zaps us of our energy is this baggage we carry around with us too often. And I'm going to speak very quickly through this so that I don't run over my time. An empowered mindset comes from reducing your baggage to a carry-on. I'm not a heavy packer. For this trip, I had to pack big bags. I wasn't comfortable with it. I do my best to keep my baggage minimal. But what I mean by the baggage is all of those words that you use about yourself, to yourself, or out loud to others that are erroneous, that they're not accurate for who you are today. Maybe they're from a long time ago, or maybe they're even somebody else's words that you've adopted as your own. Very, very important to get rid of that, to give them back to the rightful owner. You know, what does the TSA say? Right? Don't leave your bag unattended and don't take anybody else's bag, right? So the way you do that is you make a list of the words you can use to describe yourself. You circle the words that are current and cross off the words that are no longer accurate to who you are today, but still linger in your self-description. And cross off the words others, and cross off the words that others may have used to describe you, that you recognize as not your own self-understanding. The mindset for goal attainment is about becoming resilient, and that's where we talk about flexible discipline. And this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with, the last Diamond Mind strategy. Again, you can have some more strategies in the workbook that are out there, which we'll talk about after the presentation. Mindset for resilience, flexible discipline. If anybody's, all of you, I believe, are in your 40s at least, so I was a huge Janet Jackson fan, so this is why she's up there with her flexible discipline pose. Flexible discipline is a planful deviation and protective measure against relapse or derailment. It's an adherence enhancer, a lifestyle creator, and a self-esteem supporter. What flexible discipline is, for example, is that you say to yourself, okay, you know what, this diet that I'm on, and half the time when people go off their nutrition plans or their diets, it's because they have a trip up, and then they say, oh, well, I blew it anyway, and then they go all the way down the hill, like Jack and Jill. So, what flexible discipline is actually about knowing what you're facing. Let's say you have a cocktail party you have to go to. You say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to this cocktail party on Friday night. I've been, on my nutrition plan for the entire week. So Friday night, I'm going to have 1 glass of wine, or I'm going to enjoy whatever I want to have between the hours of 8 and 9:30, and then I'm going to get back on my plan. And no one really cares what you're eating, but sometimes we think they do. Nobody really cares if you're not drinking anymore after 9:30, but you know what you're doing. You're mastering your mind. You're staying in charge of your decisions, and you're staying true to your plans. You're no longer deviating. It's part of the plan. So flexible discipline is about using that kind of foresight. Just as you would, you're going to hear about nutrition planning, meal planning. That's great. And you can also plan when you have to go off of a solid plan. It remains part of the plan, right? It's no longer failing your plan. It becomes part of the plan and keeps you on course. The freedom mindset is fueled by the power of possibility and willingness to go off-road. And what you're going to hear from the rest of the speakers today is the power of possibility in your own life through nutrition, through fitness, and through your career, through confidence building. And my wish for you is that you become willing to go off-road. Find your path. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Stevens. I'm going to speak to this slide in a moment, but it's something that I really like to use when I talk to my clients and I do presentations. I just want to introduce myself a little bit. I know Rob gave a brief bio. I am also an IFBB figure pro. I compete. I'm currently getting ready to compete in May at the New York Pro. And I've had an interesting journey myself, and I wanted to share a little bit of my midlife experience with you, because I think it's really key to this whole program and why we're all sitting here and why we're all coming to you to give you our message, hoping that you'll find some nugget here, hopefully many nuggets, that you'll walk out of here with and feel like you're empowered and you've learned more. And we're also going to be speaking to you outside after the presentation, so feel free to ask us any questions. We all have full disclosure here, so don't be afraid to ask anything. But again, I also write for several top magazines. I'm going to show you something at the end of my presentation. I brought some props. But I write for Muscle and Fitness, Hers, Strong Magazine, and Oxygen Magazine. I also regularly blog for Oxygen, or for Muscle and Fitness, Hers. So I can also give you the website if you're interested in reading my weekly blogs with them. I am 48 years old. I found my authentic self when I came into my 40s. And a lot of things happened between 42 and probably 48 now. I'm still going through my midlife mastery. I haven't mastered it yet, but I'm working on it. But I'm feeling pretty confident about how things have been going. So around 42 years old, I decided I wanted to compete. Someone like Ava, similar, said to me, I've always taken care of myself. They said, do you compete? And I said, no, that's not something I'd ever do. I actually went to a competition with my husband at the time, and we sat and watched an NPC show, and I leaned over to him and I just whispered after I saw the figure girls come out, and I said, there's no way I would ever do that. I remember clear as day. And he leaned his head into me and he was like, you should. You look better than most of them. So we left there and I said, nah, I could never do that. I could never walk in the heels. I don't think I could ever do that. And I was a little scared, and then I was a little like, I'm the kind of person where if you tell me that I can't do something, I'm totally going to do it. So I thought about it for like a couple months, and I decided, I think I'm going to take a stab at it. I think that I'm going to diet and find a coach. Went online, found a coach. Girl helped me. We actually still keep in touch now. That was in 2010, I believe. And she helped me diet down, and I picked one of the biggest shows I think I could have done as my first show in New York City. It was the Bev Francis Atlantic States show. And when I look at the pictures now, I crack up because the pose and my posing. I wish I should have put a slide up. I got to add that into the presentation. But anyways, long story short, I competed for 4 years as an amateur. I won some local shows. I won some overalls. I thought I was all that. I stepped up to go to the next level, nationals, where you can earn your pro card in the IFBB. Monica knows all of this. And I went to nationals, North Americans, was still in Cleveland. I got on stage. I thought I was going to do great. And I placed, I think, maybe last. And I have to tell you, I'm laughing now, but that day I was not laughing. So I said to my husband, I said, I'm quitting, that's it, I'm done. And he's like, all right, if that's what you really want to do. And so after I got home and I slept normally and I started eating again and I started to feel better, I said, you know what, I'm not done. I said, I want to talk to the judges, I want to find out what I need to do, change my body, do what I need, I'm going back. And I did, and I kept going back, and I kept going back, and I changed my coach a few times, and I found a good fit. And I finally got to the point where I started to move into the top 5 at a national level show, which is a big deal. When you're standing on stage with 40 women who all look fantastic, it's a big deal. And I knew that I was getting noticed, so I kept going, and I got to know the judges, and I networked, and finally it happened. I did 2014 North Americans. The first national show I did, and the last national show I did was where I earned my IFBB pro card. So, and I can't even tell you, when I think about it, I still get giddy, because I'm going into my 3rd season as an IFBB pro. I'm 48 years old. I stand on stage with LaToria Watts and some of the girls that are here this weekend competing, Candace Lewis and Allison Fron and some of these amazing athletes. And it's such an awesome experience. And I just did my last show in November in Boca, and I just want to share this one last competition story with you. I competed in the 45 and over class, and I really thought that I was going to be at least in the top 3. I ended up placing, I think out of 8 of us that were on stage, I think I was 6th. So I was really disappointed again. Just this past November, same thing. I'm like, what am I doing? I was very upset. Again, a few days went by, I thought about what I was doing, and I decided, I compete for me. It's something I do because it makes me feel good. I like how I look, I like how I feel. So from now on, when I compete or pick a show, it's gonna be for me. I'm not gonna worry about placing. I'm just gonna get up there, I'm gonna do my thing, bring myself in the way I look best, not trying to please any judge, and be satisfied with myself. Pose well, present well, and that is a win. That's an absolute win, because at my age, when I can stand with late 20-somethings or 30-somethings and hold my own, and out of 40 women, maybe place 15th or 16th, that's a win for me. So I just wanted to share that with you. The other quick story I want to share with you, while I was doing all that, trying to become a pro, I had my personal training certification, but I decided I wanted to do more with it. I really like helping people. I like giving back. I like talking about how to change your body and take care of yourself and eat right, because it really does make such a huge difference. You all know, and I've said this before and I say it all the time, when you sit down to a big old fat cheeseburger with French fries and you get ketchup on it and bacon and whatever else, or you're eating pizza or something that's yummy, certainly, but you know how you feel afterwards, especially if you overindulge. We all know how we feel, and that is not a good way to live. It's one thing, like Ava said, if you build a cheat meal into your program, that's different. But people eat like that day after day, meal after meal. So if you do that, you know how you feel. Imagine feeling like that every single day, and how lethargic you feel, and how tired you feel. It's hard to get out of bed, it's hard to get motivated. If you get going to the gym, I mean, just, maybe your daily activities are all you have energy for, if even. And if you have small kids, it's even that much harder. And then you're teaching them, they're not eating right, so that whole generation is now learning how to eat in a way that's not optimal for health. So I decided that I wanted to go back to school and earn my master's degree in nutrition. So I did all the footwork, I found out what I needed to do, I applied to schools, I got accepted, had to take some prereqs to get in because my previous degree was in business. I worked on a trading floor down on Wall Street for 13 years before I had kids, so my background is business. And I had to take chemistry, and I had to take a lot of chemistry. And I hadn't had chemistry since high school, and I was 43 years old. So, and not only did I have to take chemistry, I had to take biochemistry, and I had to learn about carbons, and I had to balance equations, and I had to do all these crazy things that I've never seen before. And I did okay on my first exam. My second exam, I failed terribly, miserably. So when I got home, I just sat down and I cried, and I sobbed like a baby, because I didn't know what to do. I said to myself, I'm either going to quit, and all of this ties into what Ava was talking about with fear. Fear can either drive you or it can hold you back. And I sat there and I said, I'm going to quit. There's no way I can do this. I can't pass all this chemistry. I just don't have the background for it. I think I'm just going to use my personal training certification and take it as far as I can. And then I thought about it a lot more, and I decided to hire a chemistry tutor, and that's what I did. I hired a chem tutor, and should I just touch this and then I'll come back? Yes. I hired a chemistry tutor, and he helped me. And we started every tutoring session, I started to cry. I would sob because it was such a hard thing to do. But he said to me, look, put your books aside, sit down for a minute and listen to me. He's like, you can do this, you're smart. You know what you're doing, you're passionate about it. Just sit with me and we'll go through it. And I did, and I used him for 2 semesters. He helped me pass. I didn't need him for the following chemistry classes. I ended up earning an A on my own. So it can be done. So I love this slide because Wake Up and Be Awesome it's that simple of a message. When you get up every day, you just want to grab life and do the things that you're passionate about. And even if it's hard, and it should be, because if everything was easy and we could succeed like this, it would be boring. I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. I mean, there's no fun in falling on your ass a little bit and then getting back up and being successful. What a great feeling that is, and I'm sure we've all experienced that. So that's my message to you. One other thing that's been going on too in my life as I master it is I've just recently become divorced. And it took me 8 years to arrive to this decision because, again, and Ava has been a friend of mine for a while, and she's helped me a lot. The fear held me back because I was scared. How am I going to survive on my own? How would I pay my bills? How do I feed my kids? What am I going to do? And it just escalated in my head, and I made it much more than it needed to be. And things have actually turned out really well. My ex-husband and I now are better friends than ever before. So it's your life, take hold of it. Don't miss anything. If there's something that you want to do, do it. You're never too old to change. Don't feel like I can't do it because I'm too old, or I can't do this because I'm too tired, or I don't have the education and I can't do this. You can do anything you want at any stage of your life. Any stage of your life. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 60, whatever it is. If it drives you and motivates you, make a plan. Set your goal, make a plan, steps of how you're going to get there. So that's my personal message to you. I want to just talk quickly about some nutrition for you. The way I like to work with my clients, I take a complete history with them, and then I like to sit down and go through it with them, because everybody's different. But I find that the way that I like to work is I subscribe to the 5 or 6 meals a day program based on the person. And I balance it out with your macronutrients, which are your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. And a lot of people will say to me, I shouldn't eat carbs, right? Carbs are bad, don't eat carbs. And and I'll tell them, right, some of you are shaking your head, I'm like, no, it just depends on the type of carbohydrates that you consume. So if you're consuming more complex carbohydrates, it's going to fill you up and give you energy longer throughout the day than if you sit down and eat like a piece of white bread, or white potatoes are good when they're called for, but simple carbohydrates, sugars, things that, processed foods that are not going to give you any health benefit. Your good carbs, most of you probably, some of you may know this, your sweet potatoes, your oats, your Ezekiel bread, good solid grains, things that are going to give you energy and make you feel good. Quality proteins, lean meats, lean chicken, eggs, fish, protein powders, good quality nutrients, fats, avocados, coconut oils, olive oils, things like that that are going to power your body so that you're consistently fueling your metabolism all day long. And a lot of people, you see that 5-hour energy for when you hit the wall at 3 o'clock, drink this little bottle and you're going to be perfect for the rest of the day. And we all know that's garbage. It's probably loaded with caffeine and sugar and whatnot to give you that jolt, and then you crash 2 hours later. So that's not really doing anything. The way I operate, and I have to tell you, I never hit a wall at 3 o'clock, ever, because I consistently eat. I eat at 7, 10, 1, maybe 4, 7, and if I need something before I go to bed, I'll have some protein and fat maybe before I go to bed at 9 or 9:30. And I'm consistently fueled all day, and I have energy all day. And let me tell you, I am scheduled to the minute between working, my kids' schedules, their social calendars, their sports schedules. My children are younger. I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. I'm always on the go, but I feel great. And when I can't be home to make my meals, if I'm going to be in the gym all day long training clients, or I'm going to be out of the house, I have my bag with me, and I have all my meals tucked in, anything else I need throughout the day, and off I go. And I never miss a meal. So as soon as I start to feel like, oh, it's getting to be 1 o'clock, I sit down and eat my food. Or if I'm in the gym lifting, I have my post-workout meal with me. I consume it right after I'm done in the locker room, and then I go off back to work, or I go home and do whatever I have to do. That's how I like to operate. The other thing that is important are choosing quality supplements. And before, we had a great presentation by Dr. George Shapiro on Centogenics. And supplementation is key. Again, everybody's different. So some people may need more of something than the other. And when we sit down and discuss it, I'm able to figure out, based on what your nutritional profile is, what it is that you'll need in your diet. But I definitely like to use supplements. I'm not a huge, pill pusher on people, but there are some things that are important. A good solid multivitamin, some fish oils, and then other things based on your age and where you're at in your life. The calcium, vitamin D, things like that for women, very strong. Because as we get older, we definitely lose bone mass, we lose muscle mass, and we carry fat in different places. Quality sleep is also something else that's important. So we'll go through all of this as we do your profile. And again, like Ava mentioned, we have our workbooks out front for purchase, there's a lot of nutritional info in there and how I like to operate. So basically, I want to wrap it up. I want to show you a couple more slides, or maybe not. But the midlife years, and even before, I know we say 35 and over, and it's just really your life, whether you're male or female. The years should be a time of self-growth and self-reflection. And just finding out what makes you tick. Like Ava said, what's your why? Like, why are you here? I remember thinking, when I wasn't happy in my marriage, what am I doing? I'm not happy. I'm just focusing on my kids. Like Ava said, I did the same exact thing. I put all my energy here because my relationship was failing and we tried, but I just wasn't into it anymore. So you have to take hold of your life because only you can do it. Awesome. And that's what I strive to do. This is a picture of me in my last show in November on stage. But it was fun. And it's like, when I look at pictures of myself, sometimes I can't believe that's me. But it's fun. That's my why, because I just dig it. It's fun. And it's a great sport, and not everybody wants to take their fitness to that level, and I don't expect them to. But it's something that I choose to do. But what I like to do for my clients is take their fitness and their nutrition to their level, whatever their level is. Whether it's just to lose some weight, maybe build some nice arms, whatever it is, I'll work with you to make you what you want to be. My last slide that I love here is, and this is perfect, Sunday's to-do list. Prep your meals. On Sunday, I cook all day long. Chicken, grill, vegetables, all my stuff. And then I pack everything up because I'm ready for the week. I plan my workouts. I know what I'm training on what days I'm going to the gym, what time I'm going. My day is pretty planned out. I set my weekly goals. What else do I have to do? Do I have to do QueenBe stuff to get ready for this? Do I have to pack? Does my daughter, who's had a playoff game today, won? Yay! I set my week up. I know what I have to do. And then I prepare myself for a successful week because I know I'm ready to go. I have a positive mindset. My slide prior, wake up and be awesome, that's my mindset when I get up in the morning. And you guys can have the same exact thing. And it's our job to help bring that to you so that you can wake up every day and feel awesome. And after the presentation, we're going to be outside, so if you have any questions, you can certainly ask us anything. Two things I want to show you. One is I do write for Muscle and Fitness. I don't know where it went. It was here.
It's underneath the computer.
Oh, is it? Okay. I just want to show you, this is the current edition. It's out now on newsstands, Muscle and Fitness Hers. I have a 4-page meal plan in here. It's called the 8-Week Abs Diet, but it's really a diet that anyone can follow. You'll find it on page 98. It's 4 pages, great pictures, great recipes. It's really super easy. So feel free to pick it up. Men and women can use it. So I wanted to show you this because I'm actually very proud of it. And I'll leave you with one quote. It's my favorite quote. I said this to Dr. Meg last night. Hippocrates, one of my favorite quotes. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So think about that because it's true. And he knew way back then that how we ate was going to be how healthy we would be. They knew back then. And I feel like when I tell people now, if we just eat a certain way, if we eat healthy, we can avoid diabetes and heart disease and metabolic syndrome and all the other things that are going wrong with people. Autism, a lot of things can be treated nutritionally just by taking care of our bodies better. So think about that. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. It's really powerful and it's very simple, but it's the truth. So thank you for listening and have a great day and go be awesome.
And now we have Heather and Havenwood. Sexy boss is in the house.
Okay, so how do I do it?
Just hit the space bar.
Space bar?
Yep.
There you go. Yep, one more. There you go.
Okay, can I use this? Okay. So first off, this is my book.
You gotta turn it on.
Oh. Yeah. I'll let you do that. This is good? Whoa. Thank you. Okay. This is my book, Sexy Boss. All of y'all get one. So just let you know I have it in the back, so we'll get this to you at the end. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about what I think Sexy Boss is and what the intentions. Before I get started, my name is Heather Havenwood. I own 4 online businesses. I've been an entrepreneur since 2001. I spent 7 years of my life traveling the country, doing seminars around the country. Did 450 events in the world of teaching people how to buy and sell houses and entrepreneurship literally for a long time. It's 2017, so I guess I'm doing this way too long. I have a master's degree in online marketing. I was the first one to actually get a master's degree in the country to get online marketing back in 2010 from Full Sail University. And really what I do every single day is I build businesses. I build businesses and I market. My expertise is really in teaching people how to take their message, their market, their business, their strategy, whatever their thing is, and take it to the world and how to sell it. So you can have the best idea, you can have the best nutrition, you can have the best whatever, but if you don't know how to sell it, if you don't know how to self-promote it, it's just going to sit there on the shelf. So that's what I do. And I own 4 online companies. One of them is Supplement Company with my fiance who's taking pictures in the back. I have a nationally syndicated podcast called The Win. It's actually syndicated all over the country, 25 different cities, as well as iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Google Play. So I am out and about a lot. So Sexy Boss is, let me explain to you what that is. And back in 2005 and 6, I actually built a business with a gentleman from $0 to $1 million in 1 year. And it went great. I mean, it was wonderful. I was kicking butt and taking names. And then I went to a conference one weekend, and I came home, because we had an office in the house, and everything was gone. Bank accounts were gone, merchant accounts were turned over, bank accounts were cleared out, and literally broke overnight. And I had all the debt. And within 5 days, my house was starting to start the foreclosure process. Within 6 months, it was in foreclosure, and within a year, I was in full bankruptcy and lost everything. So a year later, I packed up my car. Luckily, I owned my car and my dog, and sold everything, and lived on the road pretty much for 2 years on people's couches and second bedrooms and whatever I could at the time. And I lived in Marco Island. I ended up in Marco Island with a friend of mine in his spare bedroom, and I spent a year kind of sitting off in the sunset, just, what the hell? You know, kind of, what is this? Who am I? What am I doing here? I was, at the time I was, I guess, 32, 33 years old. And in my world, I was successful. Like, I was smart. Why does this happen to me? There was a lot of victimhood of like, this happens to other people, not me, and I was embarrassed. I was really in this place of, I didn't want to tell anybody. And I had a dear friend of mine at the time say to me in the middle of it, he said, one day you're going to share your story. And I pretty much told him to F off, I'm pretty sure. I screamed it like, blah, 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 never, 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 never. And he was like, you will. Well, his name was Alex Mendozian, and the book is actually about my story. Years later, I'm sitting in with a friend of mine, Joe Sugarman. Joe Sugarman's actually the forward to the book. He's this dear friend of mine. I literally I got surrounded by some really amazing mentors during that time that luckily didn't charge me for their time because I didn't have the money. And one of those gentlemen was Joe Sugarman. Joe Sugarman is the CEO of Blue Blocker Sunglasses. You probably heard back in the day. Remember those like commercials? Yeah. And they put them on, they go, hey, oh my God, that's good. And that's yeah, okay, so Joe Sugarman, that's his company. He's really a dear, dear friend of mine. And we're sitting there having salad at Soup and Salad, because that's his favorite place to eat. And we're having salad, and he looks over me over his spinach, and he's like, you're like a sexy boss. And I was like, what's that? He's like, well, you're like a woman, and you own who you are, and like you're a boss, and you're gonna be successful, Heather, I just know it. And I was like, we should like trademark that. And so there it goes. So we are now trademarked, and him and I actually own the trademark together, believe it or not. And that's how we did it, is, you should really write a book. So he actually helped me with that process. He edited the book. And what's interesting about the book, and just this is about passion, and really when you figure out, I'm going to share my story, I went from the concept of the book to complete, edited, ready to go in 90 days. And then 6 weeks later, I had the audiobook. I mean, it's a very short period of time. Edited, completed, up on Amazon, done in 90 days. Some people take years. Because I knew I was ready to share my story of what happened to me. Because I knew I was responsible on some level for that. I took full responsibility for my own take in the whole process. And I went from, being a victim to really owning myself. So part of this process is I had to learn. These are things that I learned in my process, what I call from bankruptcy to sexy boss, my little transformation of my body and spirit, my mindset. And that is, I stopped asking for permission for what I wanted to do. We're taught at a young age, especially women, I want to go do this, ask mom, right? I want this, ask your dad. It's always asking permission, and if you didn't ask permission, it's like, you should ask permission. Screw that, right? As an entrepreneur, there's no one like, can I be an entrepreneur? You're like, I'm an entrepreneur, and you have to just say it. You can't wait for permission. And so part of this process with me of being a sexy boss, because sexy boss to me is a way of being. It's like an energy, for me. So it's stop asking for permission. So the first question a dear friend of mine said to me once, and again, I'm in West Florida. He's in East Florida. He said, come have dinner with me. I said, well, I can get there. You're gonna have to give me money to get back. And he goes, okay, so he paid for dinner, thank God, and he gave me $20 to get gas to get back. And he goes, I want you to start, he's literally a mentor around the country. He's phenomenal. It was Richard Flint. And he said to me, he goes, I want you to start asking yourself this question every single day with everything in your life. And, does this feed your confusion or strengthen your clarity? And I'm like, with what? I don't have anything going on, He goes, anything, down to your food. Does this chocolate cake feed my confusion or strengthen your clarity? Before you take on this project, before I'm here today. I started to take this on every area of my life, and so before I take on any project, a book, my new podcast, the new businesses that we've created, I always think to myself, does it strengthen my clarity or does it add more confusion to our life? And the reason that he was saying that to me is because when you're in turmoil, and you got something big going on, you're spinning. And it's when you can calm down and get clarity, you can actually move through it. And he knows that when you have clarity, you have power. And when you have power, you can actually move something. It's only then that you can actually make things happen. We've all been there where something happens and we just feel like life's spinning. We can't stop it. And the way to do that is just start with a small question. Does this feed my confusion, strengthen my clarity? And start with anything, relationships, that chocolate cake. Just little things, and that will start it. So part of being a sexy boss, the boss part is being the captain of your own ship. Owning all areas of your life, mental, physical, nutritionally. I am not an IFBB pro, and I have competed, which I'm very proud of. And I do own that area of my life. I do work out 6 days a week with Dawn, but I am definitely not at this level with these amazing women. But I competed on my 40th birthday 2 years ago.
Yeah, high five, girl.
That's very awesome. So people always ask me, what happened on your 40th birthday? I go, I got in a tiny little bikini and got tanned up and asked people to judge me. They're like, what'd you do? And I'm like, I did a figure competition. I shaped my booty. And they're like, why did you do that? So it was literally, what was really weird about that particular competition, Adele in Austin, it was literally the Saturday, it was my birthday. It wasn't like the week of, it was like the day. It was like an omen, you're like, oh my God, I gotta do it now. So, so I always laugh at that. But I had a big cake afterwards. I did, I totally had like a big old cake afterwards. And part of being a sexy boss for me is owning yourself. And owning who you are, and owning where you're at, and owning where you want to go. That's kind of a concept. So this is one of my last little sexy boss tips. And this was a big one for me to take on. I don't know about yourself, but never stay where your presence is not valued. Oh, yeah. That one was hard for me to get because, I feel valued by all you wonderful ladies. I just love you guys so much, and just meeting all of you even this now. But I know that I'm valued here because I value you, and that is new for me. Because I found myself that I would put myself in situations where I was trying to prove myself that I belonged there. Because most of my business I've been in was all a very male-dominated space, and there was many times I'd be at masterminds or business meetings, and I'd be the only female, and I would be asked to go get coffee. Oh my God. I'm not your assistant. And I did, I'm like, your assistant's over there. So, no kidding, I did. And I found that I started to realize I wasn't valued. And so I was trying to push myself in that world of like, let me show you how important I am. Let me show you what I've done. Let me show you. And I started to realize that sometimes I got to put myself in situations that I know I'm valuable. And if they see my value or they don't, and as long as I value them and they value me, it's going to be okay. And so I think I've changed people I surround myself with. I've changed who I share with. I've changed how I am in the situation. I'm still involved in masterminds with all men because a lot of them are businessmen. And I walk in and I don't try to prove myself. I just like, this is me. Great. If you think I'm great, great. I think you're great. And let's just leave it at that. And I don't feel like I have to prove myself because I feel like women today in business, feel like we have to go 10 times more than men to prove that we belong at the table. And I realized that I belong at the table because I say I belong at the table. I'm here because I know I deserve it. And I know that I belong here. So in the world of Sexy Boss, I call power. What is power? Power is the willing to face no. Power is the understanding that you can go after what you want in life and it's okay to fail. I shared this story yesterday a little bit where another mentor of mine about a year after the bankruptcy, and it was definitely a disaster. And I'm sitting there and I'm crying and telling him I'm poor all my life and I'm over and I'm just freaking out. And he looked at me and he goes, I want you to take this piece of paper and take this pen, I want you to write after everything I say. And I said, okay. Because I, Heather, give myself full permission to fail. I couldn't write. I was shaking, I couldn't do it, I was tearing up, and he goes, Heather, you've never given yourself permission to fail. You cannot succeed in life if you don't give yourself permission to fail. It's only then can you give yourself permission to succeed. And I never really realized that because I've always won in life. You know, I did well in school, I did well in college, and then I went to corporate world. I was more in corporate world, and then I went to this other world, and I started traveling the country, did pretty good. And then I got $1 million. I was good. I just things kept going, and I never really. But I was always holding myself a little bit back. I always did things I knew I could win at, you know what I mean? Versus really go big and go, it's okay if I fail. And this is the guy who was talking to me was a multi-millionaire, right? He goes, you know how many times I failed? He's like, I failed more than you can imagine. But the reason I'm successful is because I'm willing to fail at a lot. So give yourself full permission to fail, Heather. Then you can give yourself full permission to succeed. And so that's what I want to just leave with you today is that as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman myself, is in the face of no, meaning you're not sure if it's going to work or not. It's in that moment you have to say yes and go after what you want. And that is being a sexy boss. Real quickly on this part, you can text the word sexy. Text the word sexy, that's S-E-X-I, to 72,000 on your cell phone, and you can get my audiobook, 3 chapters of my audiobook. Fantastic.
Nothing.
When should I turn it off?
I have Facebook Live going and it died, so let's see what happens. Not everyone's at me. I got my well, I got you. You got on Facebook Live right now? Huh? I'll do it right now. You don't want to use mine? Yeah. Sorry, you just have to. It's new technology nowadays. Is your internet going well there? It was fine. Yeah. I think everyone should stand up real quick. We're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna get off your butts. Everyone's been sitting a lot, right?
No.
Shake it out. Yes, everyone's sprinting for 5 air squats. Come on, just little ones. You gotta get some blood moving.
Really wants it.
Wait, how would we know?
Have you ever heard the, I'm sure you've heard the motion creates emotion, so gotta get you moving a little bit. Get up, get your brain going. All right, cool. Yeah, you can sit down. The heels, I know. Well, I have so much to say, oh my gosh. After all of your awesome presentations today and yesterday when I got to hear, like my brain is like full of really amazing stuff. I'm just, and normally when I am asked to speak, it's usually about nutrition and fitness. So I know that you guys have covered that and you've covered some really awesome stuff. So Ava's asked me to come in here and talk about having fun in your fitness. And I think at first I was a little like, well, that's just kind of different than you think about, you know, because I hadn't really put a lot of effort into considering what that means. And as I started to just think about the opportunity to share, and I know we're filming, so it's going to be watched however many times over the next years, I just started thinking, well, you know, in all of my life, I've had a lot of fun with fitness. I'm 46. I grew up very athletic, ran track. We lived on horse farms. I had horses, clean stalls. I had clean stalls before I could go do anything. So I learned a lot about hard work. I showed horses. I watered ski. I did water skiing all my growing up. I still water ski now. Snow ski. Of course, live in Texas, so we have to travel for snow. But a lot of athletic stuff. But I always really enjoy it. And so it was fun to start kind of thinking about my journey of getting here. This Arnold, for me, marks my 20th year here. Woo! Yeah, I'll make myself a little word for it. But you know, we normally hit 20 years or something, and some people think, oh, I can retire now, right? Well, I don't ever use the word retire. It's not ever going to be something in my vocabulary for myself. I have had people talk about me retiring before because I quit competing, but anyway, the Arnold for me this year is my 20th. I came in 1995, was my first one. I missed a couple years. But I've worked every one of the Arnolds. I've been here since it was a little bitty, you know, compared to where it is now. And it's fun to come and see all the new people and just have so many memories of being here. 9 of the Arnolds for me, all of them were working. 9 of them I was invited to compete either on the fitness international stage or on the figure international stage. And as a pro, you have to be invited to come and compete here. So it's a really big deal, a really nice opportunity as an athlete. My background, I know that you gave me a really nice introduction earlier. Thank you for that. But my background is all these different athletics, but I did start competing in fitness in 1991. It was really different back then. Fitness competition started in 1987. So in 1991, they were still really new. There was no NPC, there was no bikini contest. It was just fitness and bodybuilding. And so I never did bodybuilding, but I started doing fitness competitions and did 9 years of that. Went into 1998 Fitness Olympia, which was really amazing for me. And this stage reminded me of the stage I competed on in France when I won that show, because they built the stage. It was crazy for the Olympia, but anyways, a little big stage. Went on to compete in figure for 9 years. So in 2013, I won. Actually, you keep talking about this 40 year, and I can't run over the 40 year for me. The 40 year for me was one of my biggest years. I had the hardest personally in my 40 year, but I also had one of the most successful in my professional career. And I know, looking back, you know, I'm a Christian girl, so a lot of it is all based around my faith and how I connect with God and what I believe He's going to be doing in my life for me. But also it's my mindset and what I expect of myself, my athletic background, and what drives me. So when I turned 40, I ended up leaving IFBB after no one ever does that and continues in other organizations successfully. I hadn't won a show in 12 years, So I wasn't competing to win shows. I was competing to have a goal for myself and also to use that to bless other people somehow. So a lot of what I do has always been about learning things and then sharing them with others. So throughout the years, I was running women's events, fitness events, and doing a lot of guest appearances and being able to share my take on health and fitness and what I've been able to do with it. So I turned 40, the year I was turning 40, I got out of IFBB after 15 years of being a pro, went to a holding organization and ended up thankfully winning my first show in 12 years at the WBFF World's Pro. And I ended up doing photo shoots, had 5 covers come out of that year. So my turning 40, the biggest part was that I went through a divorce. And as a Christian girl, like that was the last thing I thought I was going to do is go through a divorce. I thought I did everything right in God's eyes. Well, you can't change what somebody else does. And I knew that in April of 2010, so I'm coming up on my 7 years. You don't know about 7 years. 7 years is a completion of perfect years. So I'm really excited about 2017 for me. But that year had to get away from my ex. He was going down the wrong path, and I didn't want to go with him. Had to get away from that and ended up changing organizations and winning a show. So it was a really crazy year, like personally and financially. My ex had taken all my money, so I understand this. He wiped out the accounts, and he's still left with stuff to do. So, God pulled me through it, and I always try to figure out what can I learn from this situation, not why am I going through it. I'm never a victim of my life. And I look back at things that I did. Okay, well, I probably could have done this different or that different, and maybe had a little different take on it. But the bottom line is, my attitude is always like, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to bless somebody else? And let me help me get through this without being a victim. So I feel like we've got to take on our lives as warriors, not victims, no matter what we're going through. And on every level of our being, of our spiritual, of our fitness, emotional, we have to be warriors, not victims. So kind of the mindset that I've always worked to. So one of my slides is missing here, and I'm not sure where it went. Probably I might have deleted it by chance. And so I had a slide here that showed my Fitness Olympia win and also my 2013 win when I won, because I stopped competing in 2010. I took 3 years off. I was running track. I ran for the USATF Masters. I run the 100, 200, 400. I run the speeds of like a very good high school athlete. Woo! So I ended up going to doing track, and I absolutely love track. It's one of the most amazing things to me because you actually can go out and win whether you come in first or sixth. If you have your best, fastest race, you're still a big winner in your own eyes. So track for me, I grew up running and training and sprinting track, but then 20-something years went by where I didn't compete in track. Got back into it and went and ended up going to the World's Masters and all this stuff. So I love being athletic. In 1991, I never dreamed that getting into fitness would become a career for me. It was so different back then, so different. I can't even explain to you the changes over all of these years. We're talking almost 30 years, right? It's a long time. But I grew up just being involved in athletics. 1998 went into Olympia, and then of course the WBFF in 2010. 2013, after 3 years, I decided, I think I'll do another show. 2010 was my divorce year, and I did that show, and I won, and I was like, okay, I need a break, I got to get through my divorce and all that, and then I was like, that wasn't my last show. So I went back after 3 years, back to the WBFF, won my show in 2013. I was getting ready for track at the same time, so it was really conveniently easy for me because I was sprinting 5 days out of the week, so I was really in great shape. But like you're like, I'm going to do this. 20-year-olds on stage. Tell you, ladies, muscle memory and the muscle density you get from years and years and years of being consistent, nothing like it. So since I'm missing a slide, this was, oh, it's on here, but not up there. This is a picture from last October when I won in the UK. I went to England and competed in 2 shows there. I got back on stage after 3 years again. I thought I was done in 2013. I said, I'm done with shows, I don't need to do anymore. And then, at the back of my mind, I thought, well, if there's ever a show that makes sense for me, I might get back on stage if I can, and if it still works in my schedule, and if, the body still is functioning the way it needs to. And so, after 3 years, I got invited to represent the USA at the NAVA Universe last October. So as I was preparing for that, I got invited to another show called the PCA They were a week apart, and long story short, went out there, had a lot of really great help out there with people promoting the shows. My husband and I'm remarried now. That's a whole other awesome story. But I'm remarried to my high school sweetheart after 20-something years. We reconnected, and so we planned a vacation after the show. So my purpose was to get to Europe so I could actually go on vacation. So this was just a really great opportunity. I ended up on the show. I won the show and overall the PCA. The NAB I came in second, which was a weird class because I had never done any posing like this. My posing's all been fitness, which is the routines, and then posing for figure, which is really different now than like physique posing. Right. So this show, it was a combination of bikini, figure, and physique. Nuts. Both of the shows. So it was like, learning to pose was a little bit odd for me because I never wanted to flex my biceps. So being stretched in all different areas to go on vacation. But anyways, that was awesome last year. I got to do that. And so this is just a couple things. I think it took me quite a few years to actually admit that my hobby was indeed a career. I've been on, I don't know, over 100 covers over the years. This is the USA. When I was in Brazil, I went and ran at the USA Masters and came in first and seconds and thirds, and so it was fun to stamp the flag, and I loved all that. So I've been in magazines. This was a picture from the Olympia one year in figure, 2004. I am very passionate about a lot of things athletically. These are just some random training stuff for different magazines. Of course, that's a sprint from the World's Masters. I love that picture. So there's so much power in the start of a sprint. It's actually very emotional, even just to talk about. And I love passion. I love power. And you have to be able to focus it in and make it when you need it. You have to be able to focus in and bring it in. This is me on a horse. I love horseback riding. Jumping is my favorite. Again, that passion. It's nothing like it, that power when you feel when you're with the horse. Of course, we up in the air there in fitness competition back in the 90s. Really different. All right, so talking about, I think why Ava wanted me to come and talk about fun and fitness is because I have done so much stuff. Obviously, I'm having a lot of fun what I do. And I think it shows when you're enjoying what you're doing by your body, by your tone, by the way you present yourself. And so I guess over all the years, maybe you've seen that in me, that I had a lot of fun. And I think today I just want to talk to you guys about trying to find some fun for you in your fitness, because just because this is what for me, works doesn't mean for you what's going to work. And I believe that because I've been able to find my passion in so many different areas and have fun doing it, it's helped keep me involved. And then, of course, giving back. So I do a lot of things to give back to this industry. One of the cool things one of the things I remember when I was thinking about fitness or having fun in fitness is, when we were kids. I'm sorry, I think this is not exactly okay. I'm sorry, my notes are a little different. Anyways, when we were kids, do you remember being outside and doing something that's really fun and it's getting late and maybe mom or dad or whoever's yelling at you to come inside? Did you all do that? I did that. I was out in the barn. I was always out in the barn, and my mom was always yelling at me, get inside, it's late, you gotta get inside. We lived on 20 acres. Our neighbors have 80 and other neighbors have 40, so we're out in the middle of nowhere kind of. And I just remember always wanting to never end, whether I was jumping on the trampoline, riding my bike, or out in the barn. Cleaning saddles even to me was fun because I was in the barn with my horses. But I remember, mom always yelling, come inside. But I think we have to kind of get back to that place of what do we enjoy so that we actually will do it. A lot of people have love-hate relationships with exercise, but don't they always find time to play? So finding what you feel like you're playing when you're actually exercising is what we're looking for. So a lot of times people will they'll be so worried about the outcome of the exercise or the goal that they won't really focus on the journey getting there. And I know for me, one of the biggest things for me was actually enjoying the process of getting there, and then being able to take that and share that with someone else and teach someone else to do my journey. So what's the challenge of finding and discovering or finding your passion and what you enjoy doing? I find that the biggest challenge is figuring out, what is it that you actually like to do? What turns your fitness crank? What do you get passionate about? And so I've got some ideas for you to think about that will help you determine what your fun fitness looks like for you. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all fitness solution, but there really is an enjoyable fitness activity for just about everybody. So I have 5 different things that I want to talk about a little bit that will help you think about how are you going to have fun in your fitness, and how is it going to make sense to you so that you continue to do it. Because we have to renew our minds every day, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, just like we have to eat every day, like we talked about planning the meals and carrying them with you. I think every day we have to be to work on all of these pieces. So the first one is be true to your character. Choosing a workout that agrees with your personality. And for me, I have a lot of things that agree with my personality, and I have to really streamline, because I'll drive my husband nuts, because I'm like, I want to go do this and I want to do that, and he's like, when are you going to have time for all that and have time for me, or so I have to really streamline, because I look at all the things that I can do, and I want to do everything. I mean, even like this year, I was thinking, I want to go back and run at the outdoor nationals, which there's a 400-meter women's master sprint invitational, which I did in 2012, and I'm like, well, I could go back and do that again. But anyways, of course, I'm thinking about another show, going back to the UK, and I'm like, yeah, I can do it all. But so I have to streamline. But choosing a workout that agrees with your personality. There's 3 things that happen when you do this. It reduces your resistance to go exercise. It ramps up your perceived fun factor, and it increases the likelihood that you're going to go back for more, right? So for example, aggressive personality might feel comfortable with a fast-paced, like CrossFit workout, or someone like me, I enjoy running sprints. I really enjoy running sprints. I get out there, and there's absolutely, to me, there's almost nothing like running 100% of your capacity and not getting hurt. I'm feeling good after it. And for a distance, not like, I did that for 10 yards, but like a 400-meter run, that's, to me, that's fun, to feel your body in that kind of environment. So you got to find somewhere that you can do that. I don't say that everyone has to go out and do sprinting, but you've got to find a place to be able to do that. The kids do that. They sprint for what? Kids get out there, they sprint, they stop, they sprint, they stop, right? When you watch a little kid play, they run and then they stop, and then they run, and you're always like, man, I wish I could do that. But we can. We just have to find it within what our physical ability is and what we have available to us, and then be creative. So in order to make physical activity a part of your life, long-term and sustainable, it must be enjoyable. The second thing is know your motivation. Know what drives you to exercise. I was just talking to a really good friend of mine at home. And I started working with him a year ago on his nutrition and just trying to help him, and he lost about 30 pounds, and then he went off the wagon for almost a whole year. And he just saw me a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I saw my doctor tells me if I don't lose some weight, I'm going to have some problems. And I'm like, gosh, just think if you had continued all year where you'd be now. But you can't make somebody do something, you can only encourage them. But for some people, doctor's orders. Other people, it's physical appearance, but you've got to find what your motivation is. I used to think that my motivation came from being competitive, or having a competition, right? Because I started doing this, I was competing in horse shows when I was 7, and then I was always track and volleyball, and I've always competed in things. And then, of course, started fitness in 1991. But last year, I did something really cool that I have really enjoyed, and I've shared with a lot of people. I took a Gallup Strength Finder assessment. I went to a leadership conference, and they had us do this assessment before we went to the leadership so we could talk about it. And my number 1 strength, which when I saw this, I thought, that's really weird. It was learner. Learner, what does that mean? What in the world does that mean? So, and there was another strength, And this whole Gallup assessment says that you're supposed to work in your strengths. Whether you're working your job or your relationships or whatever it is, you have to know your strengths. They give you your top 5, and there's 30, they have actually 34. So I know all my 34, but you're supposed to focus on your top 5 because that's where you're going to be best in your life in every avenue. My top one is learner, and they have a strength called competition. For me, that was 31 out of 34. So that was kind of cool to me. So learner just basically means people exceptionally talented in the learner theme have a great desire to learn and strive to continuously improve. The process of learning rather than the outcome excites them. That was an aha moment for me. That was big for me because it taught me what is my motivation, and it's always about the process of getting to my end results of my activity. And so I'll encourage you guys, figure out what is your motivation. The third thing, value variety locally and out-of-town opportunities to expand yourself. I host some really cool women's events in San Antonio, so if you're interested, they're called Body and Soul. They're 2-day events, but I've been hosting women's events for the last 15 years, just different things, and all over the world I've invited women to come and share some of the things that I love. So if you're interested in that, you go to monicabrandt.com and see what that's all about. I know that there's run stores, like where they sell running shoes in my area, because I go buy some nice run shoes for my sprinting, and they're always trying to get me to come to their run events. And, they have all kinds of stuff. So I know a lot of places host some really cool different training things. So if you are kind of lost in what to do and you're not maybe a member of a gym or something, and go to the local fitness stores and find out what they have to offer, because a lot of places offer so many things that you can enjoy. Last year I started training for American Ninja Warrior. Again, I'm just kind of like, that was a whole nother story I don't have time for, but I put in 2 videos the last 2 years. I haven't gotten called on it yet. Maybe I'll do another one next year, but the cool thing was that I got out there and started training, not with the intention of putting a video in, but just going out because I wanted to run some Spartan sprints, another one of my things, because I wanted to learn the process of it. And so part of my American Ninja Warrior training at the facility was what I do in the Body and Soul. When I bring women out to come to my event, they come and they get to participate for about 5 hours at this place, and it's unbelievable to see all these women that think they can't do anything come out there and actually have a lot of fun doing stuff. So I'm always challenging people to expand yourself, and so that was the opportunity there. The next thing, consider competition. Don't be too quick to dismiss a little competitive spirit in yourself. You felt the bug, it was like Heather felt the bug, like, why not, right? Just try something. It doesn't have to be a figure competition. Just go try something. I didn't think I could run Spartan sprints, which is 5 miles. I'm a quarter-mile runner most. 5 miles with 20-something obstacles, that was very hard for me and challenging for me because I'm a true sprinter. I like to see the start and the end all at one time. Not like, oh, I can't see where the end is. So anyways, don't disregard if you feel like there's a little bug in you to do something competitive, whatever it is. The last thing, I know all of us have talked about this, mastering your mindset. A negative, self-critical perspective can suck the joy out of any fitness pursuit. Doubting your physical abilities or making unkind mental comments about your body is a great way to ruin your workouts, keep you from even going, and also to keep people from wanting to be around you, right? So being uplifting, talking positively about yourself, and truly believing that you can do things. I had a lady that came to one of my ladies' fitness camps. She had to be about 350 pounds. She did every workout. She was one of my most amazing women that came in all the 12 years I hosted the Fem Camp. Out of every year, she was the one that stuck out in my mind because she knew her limitations, and she would ask me, like, can we modify something here so I can try something? She had photo shoots. She got her makeup done by the makeup artist. She did a photo shoot. She wore a sheet. She did a photo shoot for her husband. Like, she said, I don't care. This is who I am, but I want to try something, and I want to do something different. Mastering your mindset, right? And I've had so many beautiful girls that come to my events that are so critical of themselves and so hindered by their own insecurities, and it's sad because you're like, you look at them and think they had everything together, but they're critical of themselves. So to maximize your fitness mindset, first be mindful and present. Think about what you're doing with your body while you're doing it. Don't be thinking about what you're going to eat or who you're going to go talk to or anything else. When you're exercising, focus on what you're doing, completely what you're doing. Mind to muscle, very important to have your mind and your muscle connecting. Glutes especially, ladies, when we're training glutes. Exercise with focus and intensity that gets the most quality for your time. I promise it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So that's when, you got to do all this 3 hours or whatever to get lean. You don't really have to do that. If you go out and do a really intense 20-something, 30-something minute deal, it will by far beat that long, crazy, slow distance, monotonous cardio stuff. I've seen it myself. I don't do cardio anymore. I'll do sprinting, intense stuff. Second, be realistic and don't overschedule yourself or overtrain yourself. You don't need to exercise for hours. Focus on nutrition, obviously, is going to be before your fitness. Lastly, don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun, laugh, breathe, especially when you're trying something new. Trust me, I've done a lot of new things, so I have to laugh a lot of times at myself to make sure that I'm not taking myself too seriously. You have everything you need right now to get started on your journey, and you're never too old because it really starts with your heart.